What's going on, everybody? So, um, so the NBA is about to be over next month. Um, I feel like, you know, I feel like the NBA has gone far, fast, I should say. Um, I mean, you could say, I've watched out of 82 games, I've watched probably 26 New York Knicks games. Some of them I had to go to the bar. Others, you know, um, I went to my friend's house to go watch it. Um, and basically that's it. You know, um, but the state of the NBA, I mean, say it as you will, or say it as you hold your breath. The NBA Finals or the NBA Play-In tournament plus the NBA playoffs, it's going to be great. Um, I think they're going to deliver like they always do. I think the NBA is in great hands, unlike the NFL, where it's dying. It's on its last breath. Um, I'm not trying to poo-poo on the NFL, but the proof is in the pudding. You know, um, but I know that I know the NBA playoffs is going to be great. Um, you know, especially all this talk about Luka and the Lakers and like I'll say this, like I think the Lakers are in a bad spot. Um, I I think they should have held on to AD a little bit longer. They could have done this like next year, you know, next year's, you know, free agency, but they chose to do it this year. Um, Now, what AD brings to the Mavericks is the same that he it's the same intensity, energy that he gave to the Lakers for all those years. Now, obviously, he won a championship out of it. A lot of people want to poo-poo and say, "Oh, it's the bubble." Like the Lakers wasn't the only players, or wasn't the only team in the bubble. All 32 teams participated in the bubble, so technically it does count because it's still a championship. There just wasn't no crowds in the arena, which was a good thing. I think they were more focused than ever since there was no crowd. I'm not saying that crowds make or break teams, but just the pressure, like there was no pressure. You could just go out there in front of cardboard fans and just ball out, you know. Um, Now, what the Lakers got in return in Luka is basically the same Luka that was with the Mavericks. Really, nothing has changed. All this fake stats, oh, they didn't, they the the Lakers have the number one defense in it. Like, really, the number one defense. Like, what is this? The 1980s, 1990s now? Like, when do teams have great defenses? I mean, I can't even defend anything, let alone, you know, try to do anything, you know, like it like when people say, "Oh, this team has the number one defense or the number two defense," I have to see it to believe it. You know, like I have to see it to believe it. Like all this fake stats, this and fake stats, that, like it just doesn't resonate with me. You know, nobody has a number one defense. Now they could be top five, top six. You know what I'm saying? I get that, but number one, like really, like are y'all good at stopping the three? Are y'all good at pressure defense? Because if you look at the Lakers roster, they have nobody that's really holding up their own defensively. No, like Luka doesn't play defense. AR doesn't play defense. Rui Ultramaru doesn't play defense. James, he's getting up there in age. You know, he'll give you here and there, but it's not going to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? I think they lost a very big piece of AD because AD erased all that. You know, AD was still obviously anchor on the defense. You know, now I'm not saying that these cats can't go out there and give you 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 2 steals, but on a consistent night, no. Okay, and then you have my Knicks. You know, I'm gonna say my Knicks for last. You have Boston, right? Now, the thing with Boston is they're very good. You know, um, they have pieces, they have players that they can throw at you in multiple ways. You know, obviously Pritchard and I think it was Light both had 40 points. You know, and none of their starters was playing. Brown was out, Tatum was out, Holiday was out. I think Porzingis was out as well, and they both dropped 40, and they actually won. So imagine when those guys come back fully healthy and they're still playing their roles. That's scary. Now that's a very good defense right there. That I could say that the Celtics have probably the best defense in their division, in their conference, I should say, because they can throw multiple people at you. You know, kind of like um, the Lakers. You know, when they had Shaq and Kobe. You know, they had players, they had role players that can throw, you know, multiple things at you. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, the Heat, LeBron, Wade, Bosh. Even though they didn't have a center, we all get that they didn't have a center, but they were still good defensively, especially that Pacers series, which I went back yesterday and watched the whole entire series. It was a battle. You know that like the Pacers took the Heat to 6 games. You know, a lot of people thought it was going to be, you know, in four, the Heat in four, because the Heat was just so good offensively, but the Pacers held their own defensively as well. You know, they had a lot of great defensive players. You know, like that would probably be a great matchup. The 2013 Pacers versus the the this state uh, this current team of the Boston Celtics. That would be a great matchup. I might probably do that Friday. I don't know how long I'm gonna record that, but hopefully it'll probably take somewhere around, I don't know, 13, 14 minutes to record. But that would be a great game, you know. But yeah, the Pacers, you know, back then they had a very good defense, and they had Danny Ranger. They had Paul George, Lance Stevenson. You know they had they were pretty good, but um but this Celtics team, they can throw so much at you that they don't really need their stars on a night in and night out basis, you know, which is crazy, because I wish my Knicks was like that, where they don't have to be so Jalen Brunson dependent that they can just go out there and play free basketball, you know. Like there was games where Melo didn't play and they actually was playing very well. I remember when we drafted Porzingis, Melo was sitting out, and we were facing the Golden State Warriors. We were actually up big in that game. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors climbed up and beat us, um, but it was very fresh breath. It was very great watching them play. You know, very good team basketball. Um, but um, what I was talking about, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah. So they can throw a lot of things at you. The Celtics are a very good team. Now, will they repeat? I don't know. You know, Bulging injuries, I don't know. If they can get to the NBA Finals fully healthy, then it's gonna be a scrap. Whoever comes out the West, buckle up. That's all I gotta say. So um, moving on to the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a very interesting team because on one hand they did win the NBA Finals a couple of years ago. Um, I think 3 years ago they won the NBA Finals, and they haven't got back since. Now they still have their core together, obviously adding Westbrook, which they didn't really have in that championship run. Um, I don't know. I think Westbrook gets a lot of flack because he just doesn't understand how to win as a team. I think it's just in that me concept, which he only knows how to play one way. You know, not in terms of selfishness, but just the mental thing, the mental aspect. Because we all know he can block, assist, rebound, score. He was doing that in Golden State Warriors. I mean, he was good. He was doing that in OKC for all those years. Even when James Harden and Kevin Durant left, he was obviously that guy. You know, um, I mean, in OKC, he hasn't lost any sleep, which is crazy. You like imagine losing three three pieces of your team. You lost Durant, you lost Harden, you kept Westbrook as long as you could, but you obviously had to move off of him. And you see the direction that they came, that they went, which is crazy. It's crazy. Um, and they haven't gotten any worse. They just gotten better and better and better and better and better. And they got plethora of draft picks. They got so many draft picks. They could build an Empire State. They could build a second Empire State Building with all those draft picks, which is crazy. Um, But the Golden State Warriors, not the Golden, I think the Denver Nuggets can make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now, who will they be going up against? It's going to be up for grabs. I think they can, whoever they matched up against, I think they can win, their battle. Now, obviously, if it's against the Lakers, the Lakers are probably going to have to do, or probably going to have to, do everything in their power to avoid, the Nuggets like they did last year, because they didn't want to face the, like, come on, man. It's competition basketball, Like, if you're ducking another team because you don't want to play that team, that means you're soft. You're soft mentally and physically, they're soft, okay? So, I think the Nuggets have what it takes to go all the way. It's just Westbrook. Can Westbrook really tap in and play team basketball, team concept basketball? So, with all the pieces that the Nuggets got, they'll be okay. I'm not worried about them, so they'll be okay. Moving on to the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, obviously, they're another team that won a championship not too long ago. Um, and they're trying to find their footing. Obviously, Dame and Giannis working together or trying to work together. They moved off of Chris Middleton, which was another head scratcher because if you saw their championship run, you could say Chris Middleton was their best scorer. Now I know they have Dame, but Dame is not going to play defense like Chris Middleton did. Go back and look at that series against against the Suns. Like, Chris Middleton was shutting their best player down. You know. So they got Kyle Kuzma in return. Um, but again, like I said, it's going to be a recession. It's going to be a building block because Dame had to play off of or not play off of, but Dame had to play with with Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma has to play with you know Giannis, and this is important, because most of these teams have what 13, 12 games left. So with these games coming up, obviously build chemistry that way, So when the playoff does come, they know how to feed off of each other. But Chris Middleton and Giannis have been together for so long. It sucks that Giannis now have to, you know, try to play with another person he's never played with. That's why I would say chemistry is key in playoff success or championship success. You know. So I mean, I got the Bucks past the first round. I think they could get past their second round. No, I know they could get past the first round, and second round they're probably going to go by, six. They're going to lose in 6 games. Um, so yeah. Um, moving on to the Lakers. Now I think I spoke about the Lakers before. Um, and they're also going to be a team that's going to lose in 6. I think they can win 2 games. Whether that's home or away, because I think they have the best record at home. So I think that's probably going to be a plus. I think that's I don't think home court advantage really matters because we've seen teams, you know, last year go to their crib and win. You know what I'm saying? So having home court really doesn't matter. Um, I mean, it matters to the home team, but you know, I mean, that's why I always think that playing away is better than playing on the road. No, playing on the road is much better than playing at home. 'Cause playing on the road, you have no remorse. You know, you have no pressure at all. You know, all the pressure is on the home team to win that game. You know, you're playing with loose change at this point. Now, when you're at home, yeah, the pressure is back on you to close it out. You know, but I always prefer away games. You know, it's just, like look at my Giants. You know, my Giants never had a home game in the playoffs. Actually, they did against the Atlanta Falcons, where they blew them out like 20. What was it, like 24-2? They only had like a safety on us. But other than that, I mean, all of our championships were all of our championship runs was at home. I mean, was on the road. You know. Um, but yeah, LeBron, this might probably be your final game. I don't know. He might probably come back for year 23 and call it quits. I think he'll probably have like one good run in him next year, and then next year will probably be his last year. Um, so I got Lakers winning 2 games. They'll probably lose. They will lose in 6, and that's just basically it. Um, OKC. Let's go to OKC. Now OKC is very young. You know, again, they were the number 1 seed last year. Obviously lost. I forgot who they lost to. Um, but they lost as the number 1 seed. Um, you know, they're probably gonna get the MVP to Shea, knowing that you know Lucas, not Luca, Jokic is playing out of his mind yet again. He had that 30, 20, 20 triple double, which was insane. um, but they'll probably give it to SGA because I mean, fans these days, right? If they don't get what they want, they pout, they moan, they complain. Oh, how can you get the MVP to Jokic, this and that? Like, if you really look at those two, and I know they played twice this year. Um, OKC won the first matchup. I saw that game. I think it was like around 3 o'clock on NBC, and then Jokic came back and won the second game. But I mean, whoever they gave it to, it is what it is. You know, that's like people complaining about Melo not winning Rookie of the Year. Like, you, you serious? Now, I understand that Rookie of the Years only come out once a year. You only win that once a year. You know, but okay, so let's say the NBA did give it to Melo, then what? LeBron James would have still went on to win them championships. It didn't really matter at all, you know. Um, but it is what it is at the end of the day. People want to sit here and complain about a meaningless trophy. Now, again, I understand Melo had the better statistics. Melo actually carried his team to the playoffs. LeBron James didn't. But That's what happens. That's what you call propaganda. Yes, Melo got robbed, but who was making the NBA a lot of money? It wasn't Melo. Melo was not making the NBA a lot of money. Endorsement deals. Who was making a lot of money? Endorsement deals. LeBron James was. So they went. They didn't go it. They didn't base this off of talent or skill. They based it. They based it off of who was going to make them long money in the long run. And they felt like LeBron James was very capable of doing that in the long run. Which obviously he's still playing. Melo's out of the league right now, so in hindsight, who really won that deal? You know, you got to just put two and two together. You know, like yeah, Melo could have won, and then what? James would have still went on to, you know, do what he does best and win championships, right? Now, obviously, he couldn't do it in Cleveland. He went to Miami, 4 trips, 2 NBA Finals, championships, dipped, went back to Cleveland, won a third, went back to LA, bubble championship. That's 4. 6 losses. Went to the NBA Finals 9 straight times, 6 straight losses, 4 championships. Hey, you could say that's a better resume than Melo, right? Like Melo was always for that. Again, this is not about Melo. But OKC is very young. Now, I hope last year was a reminder that okay, we gotta kick it up a notch. What are we missing? Are we missing a few pieces? Do we add a piece next year? You know, if Williams and Shea and um, what's the buddy's name? Holmgren. If 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 those guys can play to the level that they can play, OKC could be a very dangerous 1 seed yet again. Now they do have experience this time around, right? They do have experience this time around. Um, but will that play a part? We'll see. Moving on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think again the Cleveland Cavaliers are in the same position as OKC. They're very good, but they're inexperienced. Now, last year my Knicks beat the Cavaliers. Hopefully we could get that rematch. It depends on where the seating is right now. I think right now, currently, my Knicks are in the 6th seed because we dropped a few games. So that means that we would be taking on the 5th seed, or the lower. No, we would be taking on the highest seed, which is like fourth or third, because the highest seeds always face those lower seeds, obviously. So I don't know. I don't know. The Cavs is a very, very tricky team. You know, like I said, they got all the good pieces. They got all the pieces together. They just gotta put it together. You know, they got Garland, Mitch, Mobley. I mean, Allen. I mean, what do they? I mean, what are they missing? What are they missing? But they too will suffer the same fate as the Lakers. They will lose in six. Um, but again, it depends on who they face, who their matchup is. And lastly, my Knicks. Uh, this season has been very mediocre at best. Now you could say, well, what are you talking about? The Knicks are having a very great year, which they are. But if you look at this team on paper, they're not good at all. Even if Jalen Brunson does come back, are we getting Jalen Brunson at 40%, 50, 60, 70, 80? We are not going to have him at full strength because he's coming back from that injury now. Again, he's probably going to miss some time. I don't even think he's going to play all this month. I think um, when April 1st comes, he might come back April 4th. He might come back April 4th. We just have to hold the fort down until he comes back. Sign somebody, you know, as a sign a veteran point guard. You know, I heard rumors that they're trying to go after Kyle Lowry. You know what I'm saying? Big booty Kyle Lowry. There was a joke on Instagram. Big booty Kyle Lowry. But anyways, man, you know, like go after a veteran point guard. Um, you know, 'cause we obviously need a point guard. Um, McBride, he's up and down. You know, he'll give us what he can at sometimes. Cameron Payne, he sucks. Um, but I don't know, man. I mean, I think if we would have ran it back with the same team that we had last year, because last year you could say we had a lot of success. You know, I think we had a great bench. I think we fought a lot of good games. Um, but obviously we fell against Miami Heat. We beat the Cavaliers, or was it the Hawks? I think we beat the Hawks or the Cavaliers, one of those two, and we wind up losing to the Heat. Um, but I don't know. I think this team is just too heavy dependent on Jalen Brunson, which is probably going to be the downfall. Now they did beat the Wizards, which is the fucking Wizards. Like, come on, man. Like, until they can beat a team that's above 500, then you can talk to me. Like, they could beat the Washington Wizards 30 times out of 30. If those two teams fought 30, not fought, but if those two teams faced 30 times, the Knicks will probably win 30 times in a row. But their issue is they cannot beat good teams. They do not have a good shot at winning against good teams in the playoffs. And you know, it's the best of the playoffs. You know, like you're not gonna have some fluke team. Well, you could say it's by the seeding. Like, you know, you could say if the Knicks are the fourth seed and they're taking on, you know, like let's say the Magic, right? The Magic are not a very bad team, but they're unexperienced. So if you let Paolo come in here and drop 40 and you know Wagner and all those guys, that's gonna look, you know, that's a slap in the face because you should beat them. You know, you have no business losing to the damn Magic in the playoffs. You know, or that's like like the Heat grabbing the 8th seed, and then we're going up against them, and then they beat us without Jimmy Butler or the Hawks. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe we should have ran it back with the same team. Who knows? But I don't think we was probably gonna ever get any far there because of who we're going up against. You know, Randall will probably still do Randall things. Um, you know, I mean, we was trying to run it back with the Nova Knicks, but obviously that died out quick. You know, um, but I don't know, man. The Knicks just gotta find a way to beat better teams. Until they do, I don't care if they beat mediocre teams. Like I said, they could beat the Bulls. The Bulls are probably gonna grab the last seed. Um, but you know, it is what it is at the end of the day, man. Um, it is what it is at the end of the day. So, um, I'm happy. I'm excited for the playoffs. You know, it's always a great opportunity to see the best of the best play each other. You know, um, you know, and for the teams that's out, um, you know, get better next year. You know, try to see what you can do as a team to get better. And for the teams who did make it, congratulations. You know, um, we have another month of basketball left, and yeah, April 10th is probably the last game of this season, and then the playoffs begin or the play-in tournament begin. Um, so yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. That's my NBA. I'm not gonna say rant, but this is my NBA hot take. Um, on the road to 2K.